Hello, everyone, and welcome to what is kind of a special episode of the podcast here for the wrestling side of everything for GodSaw's Turnbuckle because, well, we got some interesting news yesterday. So this broke mostly while I was at work yesterday, and I did not have time after getting home from work to make a video. I know a lot of people have already done videos on this and everything, but I kind of wanted to get my thoughts and opinions out there too on the whole aspect of the news that happened yesterday. Broke around I think 11:30 or noonish in the afternoon, at least for my time, which is Arizona, and that is the news of Daniel Bryan being cleared for in-ring action. This is nuts, and it's nuts for multiple reasons. One, we had all thought, like at least WWE side, that it was never going to happen again, that the doctors were going to be steadfast after the concussions, everything on that side. They weren't going to care what other doctors were saying, anything on that side. That they were going to never clear Daniel Bryan to wrestle in the WWE ever again. But apparently, that's all changed. That's all gone out the window. They reevaluated the situation. They had him go to doctors outside, top neurologists, everything, and everything, go outside of the company, asking him, basically asking him to see if they would clear him to go along with that. And that's basically been the last thing that's been going on, has been WWE clearing him this entire time, because he had been cleared by plenty of other doctors in the past. But the WWE is like, no, 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 and no. And now it's like just almost out of the blue. Like, we're kind of expecting it, but also not kind of expecting it. The factor of, WWE clearing him. It's nuts to me at this point in time. Like, 2 years ago, he had to retire from WWE. Still under contract, everything on that side. So he had to, go out through the duration of his contract. But you could tell there was still that fire in him to want to be in the ring. And it looked like other doctors were going to clear him. So it seemed like it was going to be a thing that he was going to go to the independents once his contract was up. And that's kind of where this whole story had been going. But then, lo and behold, Tuesday afternoon, they cleared him. And this is one of those bits that I saw one of my good buddies, and we got to put it like this as well. There's been, like, everything we've seen with the whole Daniel Bryan situation, like all of his talks, all this, everything, like, you kind of could tell he wasn't in a proper state of mind, because all he wanted to do was wrestle, and he felt like he was capable of wrestling. Like, physically, the rest of his body was perfectly fine. He thought his brain, his brain with the concussions and everything was good to go, but WWE would keep saying no, and it kind of kept him in a miserable state, because it was kind of keeping him away from what he wanted to do. And I'm actually glad during his speech on SmackDown, I'll talk more about SmackDown during the actual full podcast, but during his speech on SmackDown, it was nice. It was good of him to kind of make mention that, yes, even though he would get angry and he would get, pissed off and depressed and all this stuff about not being able to wrestle, he even still thanked the WWE doctors for, thinking of him as a person before the wrestler, and not clearing him just willy-nilly on that side. Now, there have been a lot of things as of late that kind of have helped that cause with the doctors in WWE. Start thinking of these wrestlers as more human beings than they do necessarily as just get out there and wrestle type things. There was a period of time where it's like, oh, concussion, you're fine, don't worry about it, go out there the next night, do everything. There was a period of time that was legitimately the case. Not the case now. So with and we've seen people come back from concussions, everything on that side. They have a concussion protocol and everything on in the WWE. It had always been a different case with Daniel Bryan, because they always had felt like they needed to, go ahead and like not clear him. And I'll go back to what one of my friends ended up saying, and I saw this on his social media yesterday. And this is one of those moments that is like everything we've seen, like everything he's tried to do to get back and now is back. He had said, I've never felt happier for a person I've never met in my life because we've seen the progress. And this is a buddy of mine who's also a big wrestling fan named Jason Bassett. He was actually in one of my old live reaction videos way back with WrestleMania 31. And yeah, it kind of is one of those moments. Is like, yeah, we've never known this guy personally outside of what we've seen on TV. And this is one of those moments that I'll go off and say, it's like, yeah, I've never felt happier for a person that I've never met before, because we've seen this progress. We've seen like how he goes through and like how he acts on TV, and like sometimes he's even miserable being there, not really wanting to do what he's doing because he wants to be in the ring. But we've seen, but there's been other areas that have shown this as well, such as the time on Total Bellas and probably on Total Divas as well to go along with that. So it's happened on the reality shows as well, where we've seen like him going through these depressive areas and kind of angry areas of his life because, you know, he couldn't wrestle. But now in WWE, he's going to be able to wrestle again. Now, there was a lot of people saying that, you know, come September, he was going to be able to wrestle again because his contract is up. All these other doctors are clearing him, but WWE doctors would not clear him. But now, here's the thing. There's a lot of potential matches outside of the WWE that would be must see for Bryan Danielson, or in this case Daniel Bryan. But now there's a big chance of getting a lot of the matches that we want to see. Some of these cases, the matches have never happened before, even to go along with it. I know people want to see him and AJ Styles. I believe that has happened before. As a matter of fact, I believe it's happened multiple times before. But him and Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't know whether or not that match has actually happened. Him and Kurt Angle. I don't believe that match has ever happened either. Actually, that one I'm more for sure hasn't happened on that side. But we've got matches like that we have the chance of seeing now. In the case with AJ Styles getting to see again, and AJ more of, you know, a lot better about in-ring storytelling and everything leading into matches to go along with his athletic ability to go along with that nowadays than he was earlier on in his career. He was always great in the ring early in his career. He's a lot, I could tell you now, AJ Styles is a lot better now in the terms of his in-ring storytelling, his athletic ability inside of the ring, and, you know, promo-wise, everything. He's better now than he was back in Impact Wrestling, TNA. So we get things like that. But it also brings up kind of a downside. And we still got to think about that. Think about this. You know, concussions are a crappy thing. And it's one of those things that not only is like, are you happy that this guy's going to finally get back to what he wants to do? But I'm also, like, in the sense as a fan, and looking at everything in a perspective, also a little bit scared because of the whole facet of concussions and everything that's come out about concussions as of late, over the last 10 years even, in that case. And it's just one of those things that you got to be, I think we still as fans got to be a little bit wary that, you know, if he gets another concussion or something like that while in the matches, and don't get me wrong, the guys in the ring are probably going to protect the crap out of Daniel Bryan when they have matches with him. But you know, things happen, and it's one of those bits. Like, what happens if he gets another one? Things like that. And I'm glad that he's going to be able to come back into the ring. I'm glad he's going to be able to wrestle again. And I'm glad we're going to potentially get to see a lot of matches here in the WWE side. Because more than likely, now that he can do in-ring again, he might re-sign with the WWE. He might not be leaving in September. So there is a good chance that we're going to get to see a lot of the matches we want to see. Especially those three that I have made mention to beforehand. But you also got to be a little bit wary and a little bit scared. Now, they did a good bit on on SmackDown with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And, you know, Daniel Bryan selling the crap out of everything, taking the haluva kick, kind of getting a lot of those things out of the way, kind of, you know, any doubts, anything on that side out of the way, with the beatdown that they gave him at the end of the show, and pretty much setting up for Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan to go up against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a tag team match at WrestleMania. That's pretty much where they're going to go with it. And I'm completely fine on that one. You know, you don't want to just like, okay, he's back in the ring, here's crazy big match right off this bat. It's like, okay, they're going to keep the pace slow, and then I think they're going to build up to some bigger matches, especially after Mania, to go along with that. But it's still, like, there's going to be that piece of me watching every single one of those matches that's going to be just a little bit scared. And hopefully that, you know, he doesn't get another concussion, and if something bad does happen, that it doesn't permanently damage him in any way, shape, or form. So that's the other thing that's kind of going on that one. But also, like, there's this era of excitement because Daniel Bryan gets to come back to the ring. We thought it was gone for good, but it's not. So a little like overjoyed and scared at the same time, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of storylines they build up and where they decide to go with everything down the line here. So with that being said, everyone, that's kind of my thoughts and opinions on the whole Daniel Bryan situation. Him being cleared on Tuesday. It's Wednesday morning when I'm getting to do this video. I know a lot of other people have already done this, but I still kind of wanted to get my thoughts and opinions kind of recorded, kind of out there to go along with everything. So, like I said, very excited that we get to have Daniel Bryan back, but also a little bit scared, just hoping that something bad does not happen out of this situation. But we'll get to see, hopefully, a lot of really good matches out of this down the line as well. So, with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace out. Have a good one.